Hi, my name's Chris. I'm an organized gang stalking victim. Also, this program, organized gang stalking and electronic torture, electronic harassment, is also known as threat assessment from the legal side to make it sound legit. And it's also known as, you're also known as a selectee if you're like being harassed by the TSA. So those are the other names I know of it from the legal side. They call you a selectee or a threat assessment, as if you're some kind of a domestic threat. No, I'm not a threat, I'm not a terrorist, and I'm not a pedophile, and I'm not any threat to anyone, and I'm not a violent person, but I've had this huge slander campaign launched against me. And if you'll research gang stalking, and I'm going to give you some links to do that, if you'll research gang stalking, you will find that this is a very diabolical program to marginalize or neutralize or completely take out. The end goal is to get the target to kill themselves, but that's not happening. This has been going on for 24 years. How did I get put into the program? I suspect, I'm not sure, but I'm reasonably certain that it started when I was on the set of a casino shooting. There was a shooting of the movie Casino. I was on the set, and I was refusing an advance of one Martin Scorsese. You probably heard of him. And after that, I made it very clear I'm heterosexual. In fact, I even said those words, I'm heterosexual. And he seemed red and angry about it, and some people around me thought that was funny, and he got very mad about it. And since that time, I've seemed to have been having problems everywhere I went, as far as a classroom, any type of thing, congregation, business, work environment, classroom, you name it. Athletic club, whatever, wherever I went, there was people there watching me and menacing me, and I thought, well, maybe I'm just glowing with some kind of goodness that these hateful people have against these hateful people hate me, because I'm just kind of radiating this goodness. Well, it would be years before I learned about organized gang stalking, what had been really happening to me. And after the passage of the Patriot Act, after the false flag attack of 9/11, this electronic torture would become legal, and they're also using electronic torture on people. You can research that, V2K, directed energy weapons. I've been actually burned by this stuff, and it can induce panic and fear. They can drop doorbell noises or gunshot noises into your bedroom while you're sleeping with this technology. It's very real. And they can wake you up and keep disrupting your sleep and keep disrupting your sleep, and you get out of bed, and then you've got your tires slashed, and then you get to where you're going, and someone's trying to get into a physical confrontation with you there. All the while, your name's being slandered as either a terrorist or a pedophile, some heinous crime that would make people hate you. Well, I'm here to tell you that I'm neither a terrorist or a pedophile, but this program is actually started by terrorists and pedophiles. This starts with I don't know if I mentioned that Martin Scorsese actually was a Jesuit, studied as a Jesuit as a teenager, and it seems that they funded him to send him off to America to make movies to corrupt people, and he did a pretty good job of that for 4 decades. And in the downline of this hierarchy of Jesuit order is Freemasonry, the next secret society, and they're very much involved. Once your name is on this list, you will local communities, wherever you live, wherever you go, no matter what community you go to, will get this information on who to bug, who to stalk, who to harass. They'll get your family and friends to turn against you by the fear of them getting drawn into it too, or convincing them that you're really a terrorist threat or a domestic threat of some kind. This has gone on with me since about 1995 is when I really started noticing it, and then it went very overt after it became legal. After 2001, it became very overt because of the passing of the Patriot Act made it legal. And the people participating in this are kind of drawing the attention away from they're into some very satanic stuff. The Freemasons, the Luciferian doctrine is very violent, involving sacrifice and sodomy and all kinds of awful things at levels that 97% of Freemasons don't have any idea even exist. Most Freemasons, I'd say 97%, don't even realize that they're in a Luciferian order. They're just creating a smokescreen for them and financially funding them to create a smokescreen. Then when they get so high, a very small percentage of them, they'll earn them the 90th degree and 180th degree and the 360th degree, where this kind of blood drinking Luciferian activity goes on. So with that in mind, keep in mind that gang stalking people are electronically torturing them as child play. It's not just the Freemasons. There are other connected bodies. When you're being gang stalked, Freemasons are involved, Eastern Star, Shriners, witch covens, flat out satanic congregations. These people are very, very much into derailing anybody's Christian faith and spiritually breaking down someone, financially breaking them down, spiritually breaking them down, emotionally breaking them down. And it's a very effective program. And I didn't even realize for 20 years of this that there was a program done to turn your community and your family or friends against you called organized gang stalking. They call it threat assessment, or may have another legal name for it, but it's not even a secret, and it was made legal as of 2001 when they passed the Patriot Act, which is nothing patriotic about it. And they also use directed energy weapons and V2K technology. If you don't know anything about that, I don't have time to chase that rabbit now. I may on another video. And I can give you some links to some information on that from credible CIA agents and credible doctors who are addressing this phenomenon. And it's estimated that 1% of the population is being gang stalked right now. So if you're a perpetrator, if you're tricked into harassing someone or following them around, know that you're being duped. The person you're following isn't a pedophile or a terrorist. The people you're serving are pedophiles and terrorists trying to direct tension away from themselves and give you something to focus on besides themselves, because, hey, we've got 1 million children going missing in North America every year. And it stinks to high heck. I mean, it's awful. We got 1 million kids going missing in America every year. We've got this elite pedophile ring that can make sure these laws get made and that these people get harassed, both by people trying to run you off the road, slash your brake lines. I've seen this is happening to me. Brake lines cut, tried to run me off the road, have a pile of bricks dumped on me going down the road 70 miles an hour by a vehicle in front of me. That kind of thing is just relentless. They try to keep you in a constant state of stress, and they sabotage your relationships. They will do just about anything, legal or not legal, to just try to harass the targeted individual to death. I'm just here to invite you, if you're a Freemason and you're doing it out of your Brotherhood Oath or whatever, or in any of those Luciferian cults I mentioned, I would advise you to come out of there. And I would say that the Lord has a plan and a purpose for your life that does not include that. And I know that many of you are doing it in ignorance. And many of you are doing it because you're feeling patriotic and you think you're doing the right thing, but you're not. You've been duped. You've been duped. And if you have any question about it, there's a YouTube called Freemasonry's Secret Sodomy Rituals. It will really enlighten you as to what really goes on at the very top tier, the very last secret you learn. Most Freemasons never attain that level, and they remain blissfully ignorant and never obtain that level. And I'm sure there's such things going on in witch covens and the Eastern Star and the Shriners and you know, satanic organizations who feel that they're really doing their duty to try to harass a Christian to death. And now you've taken part in that. And I'm going to give you a George Bush scenario. Remember when W. Bush was saying, you're either a terrorist or you're not. There's no in between. You know, you're either a terrorist or you're a patriot. I'm going to offer you the same dichotomy. I'm going to say you're either with the elite pedophiles who are perpetrating these crimes against innocent citizens, or you are a freedom fighter resisting that kind of tyranny, because that's what it is. It's tyranny. And if you don't think it's going to come back and bite you, you're wrong. They will use you up and throw you away, and they will do this to your children, and that you are as expendable to them as a jelly bean. You have no value to them. Your death is like you stepping on an ant. They have no remorse or no care whatsoever about that. So please know that I've been being gang stalked for 24 years now, and had electronic weaponry employed against me for probably at least 12 years now, since it became legal, and really overtly employed against me in the last 3 years. I mean, so they want you to know, they want you to feel the pain, they want you to buckle over. And this stuff is very real, and this stuff is happening. And I thought I was all alone. And just a few years back, 4 years ago, when I started learning about organized gang stalking, I realized there are just millions, that 1% of this population is being affected, if not more, is being targeted in this way. And I would just like to direct you to a few websites or a few rabbits to chase. One is called the Milgram experiment. Look at the Milgram, M-I-L-G-R-A-M, Milgram experiment. It was done in early 1960s, and 60% of the subjects were willing to administer lethal doses of voltage to their fellow man at the instruction of a guy in a lab coat. They got duped into it, much like you're being duped, perhaps, into harassing an innocent fellow citizen who's a humanitarian, who probably loves you and would defend your way of life, whether that be his faith or not. Your freedom to do so, as long as you're not hurting any others. You're being duped into hating someone who's a loving patriot. And if you see some video footage of me being really pissed off, that's because they induce that after so much trauma, and they get you pissed off, and they catch that on video, and they post that to make you see he's crazy. And I don't think I'm any more pissed off than anyone else in that circumstance would be, or probably even less. I take it pretty well, and I keep an optimistic, happy outlook. They've drugged me, they've poisoned me, they've used electronic energy weapons on me, all in an effort to get me riled up, pissed off enough to make me look crazy. And this is the testimony of millions of targeted individuals right now. And this is a reality that we're facing. And I've got plans to petition Congress and to bring a cohesive effort into stopping this tyranny. But right now, I'm just addressing you as to, you don't need to treat me unfairly. Everywhere I go to the dentist, I get ripped off and leave there worse off than I was when I got there. Go to the mechanic, get ripped off, leave there with more problems than I had when I came in there. And, an attorney, a doctor, anyone and everyone is incentivized to betray you and to rip you off and to try to get you broken, homeless, and suicidal. That's the whole object of this program. And the question for you now is, are you going to participate? Are you going to be a Milgram study dupey? Or are you going to stand up and do the right thing and not participate in something so heinous? And I'll got to give credit. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are good people. They don't participate in it. But it only takes one or two in a workplace or any kind of a community environment to make your life miserable, or to make you not want to be around there. And I would ask you to not be that person. Remember, this is a very satanic program. They are really targeting spirit-filled Christians. And you might say, well, he's not a spirit-filled Christian. Well, actually I am. And if you see me getting really ticked off and mad about something, well, they are using my kids. I mean, they will even attack my kids to get to me. I mean, my son's first grade teacher did it. My oldest son's first grade teacher did it. His fourth grade teacher did it. I mean, participated in a level that they would torment the kids. Even my son's current, I won't get into it right now, but even a mentor of my son's right now would even torment him to get to me at this point. This is how heinous this is. And they will stop at nothing, and they're relentless, and they're going to tell you all kinds of lies and besmirch me to try to draw your attention away from the fact that they're pedophile terrorists. These global elite are terrorists. And then they orchestrate this, and it flows down through the secret societies into the local communities, into the local police departments and judicial departments. And if you say anything about it, they're going to frame you for a crime, or they're going to make death threats. They're always loading my YouTube queue with veiled threats. And I really don't have any fear of that. That used to shake me or rattle me a little bit, but my faith in Christ is such that I don't really worry about what man can do to me. I'm trusting him to vindicate me and to protect me. And I would ask you to explore the links in the information I give you. One is the Milgram experiment, just to see how easily people are duped. Look at the Milgram experiment. It was done in 1963, but it was done more recently by Darren Brown of the UK. if you want to see how nothing changed in 50 years, nothing really changed, because 50 years later, 60% were still willing to administer lethal doses to innocent people they didn't even know. Dr. Karlstrom has a website. Pardon me, I'm not trying to be cool. I'm reading with these. Dr. Karlstrom has a website called gangstalkingmindcontrolcults.com. gangstalkingmindcontrolcults.com. That'll give you a real insight to this. There's also a CIA Dr. Robert Duncan. He does an interview with Tyrone Dew, D-E-W. Dr. Robert Duncan from the CIA could also educate you greatly on these directed energy weapons. And I'll leave links to their names below so you can give it a look. If you have any doubt, or if you think that I'm just making it up, or he's going crazy, he's not really hearing doorbells or heavy metal music, gunshots, pornography, they can direct all that kind of noise into your room while you're sleeping or trying to sleep. And if you're sleeping on a coil spring mattress, it's even more effective because that works as a receiver. And I can move my head off the mattress and don't hear it anymore. Move it on the mattress and you hear it. It's amazing. It's just like a clean cut. You can move over an inch and no longer hear it. You can move over an inch and you're in the beam of sound. And they don't just use sound, they use microwave. They try to destroy your health with microwaves and with electronic energy, EMFs. They're just relentless in their experimentation with these weapons, and their abuse of people who are whistleblowers or Christians or just truthers, or authors. They're just out to take people out of society. This is a Stasi. This is a Stalin, Hitler kind of stuff. Really reminds me of Mao Zedong. He managed to turn all his citizens against each other. So the neighbor would lie on the neighbor before that neighbor lied on them, and then they were all getting killed. And it was a hellish reign of Mao Zedong, and many millions of people died. I don't know how many millions of people off my head. I think it was like 60 million or something like that, a ridiculously high number. Anyway, and this is just as real, and this is just as evil as what he was doing. And I would ask you to please consider what I'm telling you before you perpetrate a crime against or stalk an innocent victim, whether it be myself or another one who you get paid a little bit of money to harass, or if you're participating because you think it's your Luciferian duty, or you're in a cult and you hate Christians or whatever. I would ask you to rethink that ideology. And if you're just a bystander who's thinking, why is this guy so victimized? He must be a terrorist. He must be a bad guy. No, actually, your attention is being directed away from elite pedophile, homo, baby sacrificing, blood drinking terrorists. Your attention is being directed away from them onto me and a million other targeted individuals. And that's one of the purposes of the program. And I'm here to wake you up and ask you to wake up with America and put an end to this. Hopefully this thing will get defunded. Hopefully the swamp will get drained. We'll see what happens. But these people, these evil people who access this technology are in all the departments, TSA, you name it, FBI, CIA, all these tools and surveillance methods and drive you crazy tactics that they have, they're all being used against the population. And it's not going to get better. If you think, well, it ain't my problem, I ignore it, it'll go away. No, it won't go away. It's going to, when it started on me 24 years ago, it was probably at 1/4%. Now it's over 1%, and it's growing, snowballing. It's going to be 5%, then 20%, and then 50%. Then the whole country, the whole world is going to be locked down under this prison planet surveillance thing. And you don't want to be a part of that. We need to speak out now, and we need to quit harassing innocent targeted individuals now. And we need to really give pause and consider whether or not we ought to be treating our fellow man like that. Anyway, this thing has destroyed a marriage of mine and destroyed my career. It has cost me probably $500,000 in lost income. And I'm not mad or bitter about any of that. I feel sorry for them. I say forgive them. I really do have that attitude. But don't get swept into it. Don't get sucked into get duped into hating. And I'm going to have to break it to you. If you're a Freemason, there's not 97% of you are being duped into covering a smoke screen for a Luciferian evil organization that makes you think you're doing a great duty and a great service and something James Bond cool to stalk people and harass them, and you're not. You're putting a wedge between yourself and God Almighty, and there's nothing that's going to change that. It's a duping, and the top rung is very satanic, and that's true of all organized religions, most every organized religion. Most of the people are hardworking, family values folks, and then they got this one top percent that people have no idea what they're doing, and they're all on the same page. New World Order, blood drinking, sacrificing psychopaths. It would seem. I mean, there's strong evidence for that case. Anyway, my name is Chris Eckstein. I'm a targeted individual. Don't get duped into hating me. If you got to know me, you would know that I'm a pretty good guy and pretty compassionate guy, and a very fair-minded guy, and a very equal opportunity kind of guy. I don't go hating on people, and I don't appreciate people hating on me. But if you can't refrain yourself, then that's between you and God. But anyway, be blessed. I got God in my heart. And I'll see you on my next clip. I'm going to make a habit out of making these things. I've got a lot of different issues I need to pinpoint and clarify, but I can't do it all in this one video. This one video is to invite you to do a little research on organized gang stalking and understand that I'm not a terrorist or a pedophile, but terrorists and pedophiles are duping you into focusing on me so you won't focus on them. That's what's happening. So welcome to reality. I got plenty more red pills for you if you want to take them. Be blessed, and God bless you. Peace out.